If you've ever felt like your paycheck disappears too quickly, like no matter how hard you work, money just doesn't seem to stay, this might surprise you. The real leak could be coming from your front door. Not your habits. Not your job. Your front door. It sounds strange, I know. But over the last 2 decades working in energy design and home flow, I've seen one pattern show up again and again: homes where the front entrance quietly works against the people living inside. It doesn't shout. It doesn't warn. It just quietly lets fortune walk right back out while debt settles in like unwanted houseguests. And the worst part, these mistakes are almost invisible. We decorate with love, arrange things to feel welcoming, but never realize we're sending mixed signals to the very energy we want to keep. Good energy doesn't just show up, it stays when it feels invited. But if your home is unknowingly pushing it away, you'll keep wondering why things feel stuck, heavy, or just off. Today, we're going to uncover 5 front doors that silently drain your finances, disturb your peace of mind, and keep you looping through the same financial frustrations again and again. These aren't spooky superstitions or dramatic rules. They're simple, everyday patterns, easy to overlook, but even easier to fix once you see them. So take a deep breath, and don't just think about your day, think about what your home might be saying without words. Because sometimes, the quietest corner of your house is the one holding you back. And it usually starts right where you walk in. Mistake 1. The mirror that silently says go away. You walk through the front door at the end of a long day. You set your bag down, hang your coat, glance up, and there it is. A large mirror centered on the wall, facing you like it's been waiting. It's clean, decorative, maybe even elegant. But you don't know this yet. It's the reason why money doesn't stay in your home. It's why opportunity keeps slipping through your fingers. It's why, even when everything looks beautiful, something always feels off. In thousands of homes I've studied, one of the most common and damaging features I find is a mirror placed directly opposite the front door. It's done with good intention, to open up the space, to bounce light, to make the entryway look bigger. But in practice, what it's doing is far more costly. It's pushing everything good right back out. Let's make this simple. Energy, like a guest, enters through the front door. It doesn't barge in. It pauses. It senses. It chooses whether to stay. When a mirror faces the front door, that guest sees their own reflection before they see the home. And in a subtle but powerful way, that reflection tells it, there's no room for you here. Mirrors reflect. That's their nature. But when placed in direct line with your home's main energy entry point, they don't just reflect light or images, they reflect movement, flow, potential. They send wealth, peace, and warmth right back out before it ever settles. You may work hard. You may earn well. But if the energy of your home is set to repel, you'll constantly feel like things come, only to vanish. Think. Have there been times where money arrived and disappeared without explanation? Times where the house felt restless, like no one could quite relax. That's not coincidence, that's disrupted flow. And the mirror is doing exactly what it was made to do: reflect. The problem is, it's reflecting the very things you're trying to keep. Now imagine this same mirror placed just a few feet to the side. Still beautiful, still useful, but no longer interrupting the energy as it enters. Suddenly, the space holds warmth. You can feel it. Things breathe. Moments settle. That's how quickly the atmosphere of a home can change without knocking down a single wall. Some people ask, is it really that serious? Can a mirror really affect our finances, our mood, our stability? And to that I say, walk into a room where you feel instantly calm. Then walk into one that feels stiff, uncomfortable, or a little too sharp. The difference isn't in the paint color or the furniture. It's in the way energy moves or doesn't. Homes are living systems. They respond, they remember, and the front door is where that memory begins. If energy can't enter fully, it can't nourish. And just like a plant kept in shadow, you start to feel the effects. Things that should bloom don't. Ideas that should thrive stall. Relationships become transactional. Peace becomes temporary. Even your sleep feels thinner, like your body is in the house, but your mind never fully arrived. This is not about superstition. It's about how space speaks. A mirror isn't evil. It's just misplaced. And when placed with intention, it can become an incredible amplifier of warmth, beauty, and joy. But not in the doorway. Never in the direct path of entrance, because what you want is flow. Invitation. A soft unfolding, not a sharp return. If you're not sure whether this applies to you, here's a quick test. Stand outside your front door. Open it. Take one step in. What's the first thing you see? If it's your own reflection, it's time to make a shift. Not because something bad will happen, but because something better could happen, and the current setup is blocking it. Small. Move the mirror. Or, if that's not possible, cover it with a light fabric or replace it with art that softens the gaze. A mountain landscape, a quiet bloom, a shape that curves rather than cuts. Choose something that welcomes, not something that bounces back. And after you do, watch. Not just for dramatic results, but for subtle ones. A clearer mind. A slower morning. A sense of ease you didn't realize was missing. That's energy finally landing where it belongs. That's the door no longer saying go away, but gently whispering, you're welcome to stay. Mistake 2. Stairs that pull your fortune up or down. You open the front door, and the first thing you see isn't your home, it's a staircase. Your eyes are pulled up or down before you've even taken a full breath, and whether it leads to a second floor or sinks into a basement, the message is the same: energy has somewhere else to go. Fast, and without realizing it, so does your peace, your focus, and often your money. This kind of layout feels common, especially in narrow homes and modern floor plans. But common doesn't mean harmless. When a staircase faces the front door directly, energy rushes in and gets hijacked. It doesn't settle. It doesn't circulate. It escapes. And just like that, your home loses its ability to hold things, to hold stillness, clarity, or financial stability. You might work hard, budget well, even save, but money disappears. Not in chunks. In small, steady drips. You can't quite track where it's going, you just know it's gone. And it's not just about finances. It's the mood in the house, the way everyone seems to move past each other without really meeting. The way conversations get cut short. How rest always feels a little incomplete. It's that feeling that no matter how much you clean, rearrange, or try to relax, something always feels unsettled. Now imagine energy like water. If water flows in and hits a steep incline immediately, it won't linger, it'll rush. Up or down. That's what happens in these homes. Energy enters, gets pulled by gravity, and skips over the heart of the space. Instead of anchoring in the living areas where connection and calm live, it funnels itself away. And when the energy of your home rushes, you rush. Decisions become impulsive. Time slips. Relationships start to feel surface level, like everyone's moving in different directions, even under the same roof. You start the day tired. You end it without clarity. There's no pause. No real beginning or end. Just motion. Constant, invisible motion. But here's what matters most: this isn't your fault. You didn't design the house with this in mind. No one tells you how space speaks. But it does. And when your space says keep moving, your body can't truly rest. Your mind can't fully land. And over time, that kind of exhaustion doesn't just steal your energy, it steals your sense of direction. So how do you change it without tearing out stairs or rebuilding walls? interrupt the rush. That's it. You give energy a reason to pause. A rug, a soft bench, a standing screen. Something between the door and the staircase that gently says, slow down. You're not blocking the flow, you're guiding it. Like placing a boulder in a stream, not to stop the water, but to soften the current. Use texture, warm lighting, a grounding object like a plant or a rounded chair. Choose things that invite the eye to linger instead of dart away. And suddenly you'll notice the shift. You walk in and the space feels deeper, quieter, like something is holding you instead of hurrying you along. Even the air feels different. When energy moves with grace, and if your staircase leads downward, a basement or a lower floor, be especially gentle. Downward energy can feel like heaviness, stagnation, even depression. You might feel unmotivated, unclear, like your spark keeps dimming. In those cases, light is everything. Keep the area well lit with warm tones. A soft glow near the base can remind your subconscious this is still part of home, not an emotional dead end. Take a moment now. Picture your own front door. What happens when you open it? Does it invite you in or send you away? Does it say you've arrived or keep going? A home should hold you. The moment you walk in should feel like an exhale, not a shift into the next task. If your layout doesn't support that, your environment may be reinforcing the very overwhelm you're trying to escape from. Yet, with just a few intentional choices, you can bring balance back. You don't have to knock down anything. You don't have to spend thousands. You just need to guide the energy so that what's meant to stay can. Because sometimes, the most powerful shift isn't a big change. It's a soft redirection. One that starts with where your stairs lead and where you allow your energy to land. Mistake 3. The kitchen heat that burns stability. You open your front door, and the first thing you see is the kitchen. Not the living room, not a quiet corner or a welcoming hallway. It's the stove, the countertop, the flash of a toaster, maybe even a pot left out from last night. And while it may seem harmless or even cozy, this direct alignment between the entrance and the kitchen quietly stirs up something most people never notice until it's already costing them instability. Because when the kitchen sits directly in line with the front door, it does something subtle but powerful. It meets new energy with fire. It meets fresh flow with heat. And what could have been an invitation becomes a clash, a jolt. Imagine walking into a warm home and feeling like you've stepped into something too bright, too active, too fast. That's what it feels like to energy. And the result? The good stuff doesn't stay. The kitchen, in energy design, is a center of transformation. It holds fire, real fire, symbolic fire, emotional fire. It's the place that turns raw into nourishment. It's intense, focused, but it's not meant to be the greeter at the door. When it is, energy enters the home and instantly bumps into that fire. The flow can't breathe, it can't explore. It either scatters or gets overwhelmed. And so, money doesn't build. Conversations become shorter. Tempers get sharper. And a sense of agitation begins to linger, quiet, unspoken, but ever present. Now think about your own space. Do you feel like money burns faster than it should? Like small tensions spark over nothing? Like you walk in the door and immediately feel on? These aren't just feelings, they're signals of friction, of flow that's been cut off before it could settle. But here's the beauty of space: it responds quickly. Especially to softness. You don't need to tear out the kitchen. You don't need to knock down walls. You just need to create one gentle layer between the front door and that fire. A sheer curtain, a standing screen, even a tall plant, something that says to the energy, let's take a breath first. When you do this, something interesting happens. The rush fades. The mood calms. People pause before speaking. You pause before reacting. The home begins to hold itself differently, not just physically, but emotionally. What was once reactive starts becoming responsive. And that's where stability lives, not in control, but in space to respond. It's also why so many homes with this layout experience bursts of prosperity followed by quick loss. Money arrives, but doesn't settle. Ideas start, but burn out. Even joy becomes hard to sustain. It's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because the very structure of the space keeps fanning the flames. Not intentionally, but constantly. One client once told me, "It always feels like we're arguing in the kitchen even when we're not talking." And when I saw their home, I understood why. The kitchen was the first thing anyone saw. It had no boundary. It was beautiful, yes, but too exposed. Too loud. Too fast. Once we added a soft textile divider and placed a round rug near the door, the change was instant. Their words softened. Their mornings slowed. Meals started to feel nourishing again, not rushed. And more than that, their spending habits leveled out. They stopped overspending on little things. They began to save without even trying. Because energy works like that. It doesn't need force. It needs permission. Another subtle tip: pay attention to the stove. If it's in direct line with the door, consider shifting it even slightly. If that's not possible, use light to redirect the gaze. A lamp near the doorway. A framed photo. Something to hold the eye before the fire takes over. These small gestures tell the space, let's ease into this. Also, color matters. If the kitchen dominates the entrance, soften it with earthy tones. Curved shapes, things that absorb rather than bounce. Avoid sharp reds or metallics near the threshold, they intensify the heat. You want the kitchen to be alive, yes, but not aggressive. You want it to cook, not consume. Now breathe in for a moment. Picture walking into your home. What greets you? A calm warmth that invites you to settle, or a rush of energy that asks you to do more before you've even put your keys down. Your front entrance should not feel like a task. It should feel like a welcome. And your kitchen, as powerful as it is, should remain the heart, not the hallway. You don't need a brand new floor plan to create that shift. You just need intention. One layer. One soft stop. One gentle hello before the fire takes over. Because peace doesn't begin in silence, it begins in space. In stillness. In a home that understands how to greet you, not push you. And when you create that flow, you don't just change how your house feels. You change how your life moves. And that changes everything. Mistake 4. A door-to-door breeze that takes everything with it. You open your front door, and before you can take a full breath, your eyes are pulled straight through the house to the back door. It's a clear line. Clean. Open. A layout many would call airy or modern. But beneath that openness is a quiet leak, one that doesn't make noise, doesn't break anything, doesn't scream for attention. It simply lets everything good pass through. Without stopping. Without staying. In energy terms, this is what we call a piercing path. Energy enters, but it doesn't circulate. It doesn't slow down, doesn't feed the corners of your life. It comes in, sees an exit, and leaves. And over time, so does your clarity. Your motivation. This isn't abstract. It's something you feel. In the way your house always feels a little off-center. In how good news doesn't seem to lead anywhere. In how money arrives and disappears, like water through a pipe with no bottom. The space is beautiful, but the life inside it, always a little scattered, a little thin. And what's harder to see is the emotional echo of this layout. When energy can't settle, people don't either. Everyone in the home begins to move, just like the space passing through. You may live under the same roof, but connection feels rushed. Meals are shorter. Moments don't stretch the way they used to. It feels like no one's ever quite home, even when they're physically present. If you've ever wondered why you feel restless at home, or why it's hard to feel full, no matter how much you do, this might be why. It's not about doing more. It's about keeping what you already have. And when your home can't hold energy, life starts to feel like a loop of effort with no return. But the good news is, this is one of the easiest mistakes to fix. You're not trying to block energy. You're simply giving it a reason to stay. A folding screen between the doors, a round rug that breaks the line, a piece of art that draws the gaze. These small, quiet gestures work like a gentle dam in a stream, not to stop the flow, but to let it nourish the space around it. You're telling the energy, pause here. You're welcome. One of the most beautiful tools for this is a wind chime, especially one made of metal, with 6 hollow tubes. Hang it between the front and back doors, and what you'll notice is more than sound. It's a shift, a stirring. The soft ringing keeps energy alive, moving in circles instead of lines, touching the corners of the house, stirring parts of your life that may have gone quiet. You'll know it's working not because something dramatic changes, but because something subtle does. The house feels warmer, even when it's cold. You remember things you've been meaning to do. You stop and sit longer. People stay in the room a few minutes more. That's flow returning. That's energy finding a reason to stay. If your back door is glass or if it lets in too much visibility, try layering the view. A curtain. A plant. A soft blur between the world outside and the center of your home. This helps protect the energy, like cupping your hands around a small flame. Not to smother it, but to keep it alive. And here's the deeper truth. When your home learns to hold energy, you begin to feel held too. Your thoughts become clearer. Your choices feel less rushed. You stop chasing and start receiving. It doesn't mean life stops moving. It just means you're no longer being pulled in every direction by invisible currents. Take a moment today. Stand at your front door. Look straight through to the back. What do you feel? Is your home a passageway or a sanctuary? Does it feel like life walks in or like it rushes out the moment it arrives? This isn't about superstition. It's about architecture and awareness. When the layout invites energy to linger, it also invites peace, focus, joy, stability. The very things most people are working so hard to earn, but that might already be available if the house was ready to hold them. And all it takes is a pause. One soft stop between hello and goodbye. Because sometimes the most powerful shift in your life doesn't come from the outside. It starts right at the heart of your home, where energy enters, and where you choose to let it stay. Mistake 5. The cluttered threshold that blocks your first breath. There's a moment, just a second, when you open your front door and step inside. That first breath. The pause before anything else. In that moment, your home has the power to either ground you or drain you. And for so many people, that moment is blocked. Not by something obvious, not by a structural flaw, but by shoes, boxes, old coats, packages waiting to be returned. By everyday clutter that slowly piles up at the very threshold where energy is meant to enter. It starts innocently. A pair of boots left out after a storm. A bag of donations you meant to drop off. A broken lamp waiting for repair. None of it feels dramatic. But over time, that front entrance becomes a storage unit, not a welcome. A place where energy gets stuck, where your own thoughts start to feel crowded, and you might not even realize it until you notice that you've stopped feeling happy to come home. Because the threshold isn't just where you walk in, it's where energy breathes in. Where the home meets the world, and when that space is dark, cluttered, or chaotic, you carry that feeling with you. Into your kitchen, into your bedroom, into your sleep. It becomes the first signal your nervous system receives when you step inside. Instead of "you're safe now," It whispers, there's still more to manage. And that whisper builds. You find yourself more tired, more short-tempered, more avoidant. You clean, but it never feels clean enough. You rest, but it doesn't feel like rest. You start associating home with pressure instead of peace. And slowly, without realizing it, you start checking out of your own life. Here's the deeper truth: clutter at the entrance doesn't just block energy, it blocks clarity. It keeps you living in the past with the stuff you haven't dealt with, the things you haven't released, the decisions you keep postponing. And the more that collects there, the harder it is to feel like anything new can arrive. But the shift, it's simple. You don't need to renovate. You need to clear the mouth of your home. Make it clean. Make it open. Make it intentional. A well-lit, clear threshold is one of the most powerful signals you can send, not just to energy, but to yourself. It says, you're home now. You're allowed to exhale. Start by removing anything that doesn't serve a purpose in that space. Not someday. Today. Give every item in your entryway a job, or give it a goodbye. Then, add light. Soft, warm lighting that greets you. That tells your body here is warmth. Here is safety. A small lamp, a motion sensor light, even a candle you light when you come home. Let that be your ritual, one that reclaims your threshold as sacred. Next, open the door fully. Not halfway. All the way. Even for just a minute. Let air move through. Let light touch every corner. This simple act reboots the energy in your home like clearing static from a line. You're saying, I'm ready for flow. I'm ready for presence. And your house will listen. If you want to deepen this ritual, try placing a small bowl of salt or fresh herbs by the entrance. Something symbolic. Something that absorbs the weight and welcomes clarity. It doesn't have to be seen to be felt. And that's what makes it powerful. You're not decorating. You're activating. Over time, you'll notice something. You arrive softer. Your shoulders drop faster. You stop sighing as much when you walk in. You begin to look forward to entering, not just because of what's inside, but because the transition feels right. Clean. Honest. Hold out. A cluttered threshold teaches you to brace yourself. A clear one teaches you to relax. And in a world where so much pulls you in every direction, that single point of pause right at the entrance can be the difference between living on edge and living with ease. So take a look. Today, tonight, what's sitting by your door? What story is it telling you every day without words? Is it saying, you still haven't dealt with this? Or is it saying, come in? I've been waiting for you. Your home doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to breathe. And that starts where you do, at the threshold. The place between out there and in here. The place where energy meets intention. Clear it. Light it. Honor it. And you'll feel what's always been missing: space to return. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, energetically. Because your first breath matters. Make sure it has room to reach you. So much of what we call luck or flow in life isn't a mystery. It's movement. It's how energy enters, how it stays, and how it speaks through the quiet details we often overlook. A mirror that pushes good fortune away. A staircase that pulls your focus elsewhere. A kitchen that meets you with heat instead of calm. Doors that line up too perfectly and invite everything to slip right through. Or a threshold that's so cluttered, even your breath has to fight for space. None of these things are meant to shame or overwhelm. They're invitations. Gentle ones. They ask you to look again at the place you return to. Every day, not with guilt, but with grace. Because the truth is, your home doesn't need to be bigger, or newer, or styled like a magazine. It just needs to hold you, to support you, to breathe with you, not against you. And the moment you start seeing it that way, something changes. You begin to soften. Your nervous system calms. Opportunities don't feel so far away. Money doesn't leak so quickly. Conversations last longer. and your home stops being a place you manage and starts being a place that holds you, nourishes you, protects you. If you've stayed with me this far, thank you. Thank you for showing up for your space, for your peace, for the version of you that knows things could feel lighter, brighter, more aligned. I hope this helped you see with softer eyes. Because sometimes one small shift, one mirror moved, one screen placed, one breath taken fully at the door can open a new chapter entirely. From my heart to yours, I wish you a home that holds you gently, a door that opens to peace, and an energy that stays because you've made room for it. Until next time, take care and let your space become the sanctuary it was always meant to be.